environment where freedom of thought and expression are throttled, democratic setup is shattered, division and dissension among different sections of people on the basis of the caste, religion, food, dress, and are encouraged. Hatred and violence became pervasive, disseminating and federal structure of the country. In the present context, from the city of Chandigarh, we call upon the people of India to strengthen, join and strengthen struggles to defend constitutional values for a secular and democratic polity, for India's long-standing, non-aligned, independent foreign policy, for achieving peace, democracy, social justice, for strengthening solidarity with the people of Cuba, Palestine, Syria, Venezuela, and other countries struggling for their just causes, for the equitable global order. Thank you very much. This is the, I think, Chandigarh Declaration, which will guide us for the future, and it is the conclusion of the overall discussion which will enrich this declaration in that context. Thank you very much.
Hope this declaration will be accepted by you. Thank you.
कॉपी तो बैग में था,
कॉपी बैग में है आपके पास?
सबका मिला नहीं।
If some people did not have the copies, now we try to supply in their folders. Even then, within half an hour, we will Xerox and we will supply. Thank you very much.
That's okay. Please raise your hands who are supporting it. Any changes or anything? So, any against? Thank you for accepting. Applause. This is our future program totally. Thank you, sir. And now request.
1 minute. Because now reply will be given by Comrade Arun Kumar, and then we'll have a approval of the new leadership. But there are some requests from many delegates that many of them thought that meeting will be over in the late lunch. So they have a ticket for evening Shatabdi to go back to Delhi. So I request those who will be speaking, they should take very small time so that people can, we can finish the entire business within 5:15 p.m.
Thank you.
Comrade, this is a request that is meant for me because he thought that the presidium members, if they tell that, I will not listen, so he should. Okay, comrades and friends, मैं कोशिश करूंगा दो भाषा में ना बोलने के लिए, सिर्फ अंग्रेजी में ही बोलना क्षमा चाहता हूँ। हिंदी भाषी क्षेत्रों से जो भी आए थे थोड़ा समझ लीजिए कि मैं अंग्रेजी में ही अभी जो भी बोलना है वो बोलूँगा। Comrades and friends, 21 states had participated in this discussion, in which 33 people took part. It was a discussion for more than 3 hours. So overall, there were many suggestions that had come in both the political and organizational sections. First, I will be dealing with the suggestions which have come in the political part of it, which we don't have any objection, we need not have any objection to accept them. For example, there is a suggestion on to include the certain sentences on the attack on judiciary that is taking place today, and how the other institutions of Indian state are being misused by the current central government. We need not have any problem, we can add those things. Similarly, there is a session that had come to include when we are talking about the health issues after post-COVID, that there should be a demand explicitly mentioned about the right to health, and also when we also discussed about child labor, then it was also said that child marriage, child abuse and all these aspects also need to be included to strengthen that part of the report. no problem with that. And there is another issue that had come, which says that, which talks about the differentiation among the workers, permanent workers, contract workers, unorganized workers, and these kind of things. I think we need not go into such lengthy details into that, that the trade unions can look into that. So we can, there is no harm in adding these kind of things. But given the scope of our organization and the limitations of the report, we need not go into such details. There is also another suggestion that had come to strengthen the section on climate crisis, environmental challenges that we are facing today, as that can be done. There is one important suggestion that had come up, which is that there should be a paragraph on the ways and means in which the United States is intervening in India and in South Asia. Yes, this is a very important point that we should also consider, and we should certainly find a place in this document, in the political report, that we will certainly try to add to that. And then there are other suggestions which had come up, like the role of international finance capital. See, comrades, this is not an economic document or a lengthy political document, but we are talking about All India Peace and Solidarity Organization. So we cannot deliberate at length on international finance capital. So I don't think we need to have a certain section on international finance capital or a paragraph, but more or less it is understood where the imperialist strength comes from and where the attacks are originating. If that is not clear, a mention can be made of that. And then there is another important comment that had come, that there is some more on international issues that are there in this political document, that there should be something more on India. We'll try to see how, we thought that there is enough on India, but by strengthening the US interventions on India, we can talk about the foreign policy of India and how India is weaning away from the foreign policy. Explaining that section a little bit more, then that might strengthen the section on India. Then there was a very interesting discussion that Comrade Arvind Podwal had posed about equity and equality. So I don't think that we need to go into that debate now here in this, because there are various viewpoints. Everybody have our own take on what is equity and what is equality, and whether it needs to be included here, whether it need not be, who should stand for equity, what is equality. So we will not go into that demand. Equality is a term that the Constitution of India uses, and we stick to that, and when we say we call for equality of everybody in this country. So these are some things that I feel that we should be considered from the suggestions that had come about the political aspect of the report. And then there are many things that have come about the organizational aspect also, which I want to touch upon now. Some of them are very serious criticisms. First, I want to take the part of criticisms that had come, and we accept those criticisms. Which is, the first criticism is that the program of the conference is not given in advance or even before the delegates in their bags, except a schedule was given. They don't, delegates didn't know what is happening at what time. This is a valid criticism. We accept that, and in the coming days, we need to rectify that. A proper program of the conference should be shared with the delegates. Then there is another criticism that some of the states, with the repeated reminder of Comrade Pallab from the center, have sent their work reports which were not circulated in spite of that. This is also a very valid criticism. We accept that. This will not be repeated. We will ensure that work reports wherever, whenever or whichever we have got will be shared and distributed in the coming days. Then there are two more important criticisms. One, the credential reports. You have collected the credential forms today, which will not be shared with the delegates. So it should have been done yesterday. Now we cannot rectify that, but what we can do is, by analyzing the credential forms that were circulated, that were taken back from you, we will give you a credential report through all the state committees, which you can share with the delegates concerned. Then the minutes. Our comrades have criticized that there is nobody writing minutes in this conference, which is not a correct thing, correct practice. Yes, that is something which is an oversight, but we tried to note down whatever points that were made by the delegates when they were speaking here. So that we will try to look into in the coming days. Then there was also a question about the finances of IPSO. The financial audit report of IPSO will be placed or given in the shortly. So that will not be there in the political organization report, but it will be dealt separately as is the practice in IPSO. So that can be addressed in that manner. Then there were some important organizational suggestions which I think we should consider, but we cannot accept right now. One is from Kerala, which says that our membership should be done not annually, but it should be a biannual membership. That means every 2 years once membership. I don't think, comrades, that this should be accepted, or this can be accepted now, because Comrade Pallav, while he was placing the report yesterday, he had mentioned the distance that IPSO had travelled from those days when there was no membership at all to the for the IPSO organization, to the period when we started enrolling membership for the IPSO. So IPSO membership is not just collection of money or registering some members. It is also a political campaign of the why and what this organization stands for. This is a means in which we can take the program and objectives of the IPSO towards the common people. You remember when Justice Chima was talking, he had said that the peace movement should be, and he quoted that song that was sung during that period, talking about the linking Jallianwala Bagh and peace during the early 50s and 60s period. What the exact words that he had mentioned, I don't remember right now, but as far as I can recollect, they are Sabse Waris Dastak Angute Wale. Sabse Waris Dastak Angute Wale, which means the greatest signature that we collect will be the signature of the illiterate. The peace movement should be like that. If we have to include the illiterate sections also into the peace movement, that means we have to take the ideals of our peace movement towards those sections who are deprived of educational benefits. That means we have to approach them every year, and membership gives us such an opportunity. Yes, it is true, there are various mass organizations in which we are all active, there are political parties in which we are active, there are various campaigns that these political parties and mass organization gives, but that doesn't give us an answer, or that doesn't show why we should stop enrolling membership every year. IPSO is another organization. We have been talking about the broad scope of IPSO. We have been talking about the way in which IPSO has in it many mass organizations and political parties also in it. So that makes it even more necessary to enroll the membership of IPSO every year. So I think, comrades, the suggestion of Kerala cannot be accepted now. It can be debated at the later point of time if the Kerala comrades want to insist. The second thing is about a suggestion from our Tamil Nadu comrades about a 3-day national conference, saying that 2 days is not sufficient. Comrades, you see, Pallav had just mentioned when he wanted me to make a small speech that Shatabdi Express is living and many of the delegates are already there. You just turn you and see the auditorium and compare it what it was yesterday morning and what it is now. So this has the reality of IPSO also has to be considered when we want to increase the number of days of having this conference. If our movement extends to all the 29 states and all the other union territories in our country, and if our membership from 2,000, 3,000, 8,000 in states like Tamil Nadu, Kerala, West Bengal also increases to 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, then we have units in all the districts, committees functioning in all the districts, in all the major cities in our country, then we will have activists coming from all these places, then we can certainly have a discussion for 3 days in this conference, and we can increase the number of days for this conference to 3. But till then, we have to bear with a 2-day conference, whatever is the reality is before us. So that can be a suggestion for the future. Then there is a very innovative suggestion that had come from our Karnataka comrade who had taken part in the discussion, I think for the first time, that he said that if IPSO has to be a really broad-minded organization, the title of the report should not be political and organizational report, which gives a color that it is a mass organization of a left party or a political party. Yes, that's a very good suggestion. He in fact had suggested it can be like current situation and task, which might also be something looked at as a mass organization, but we should certainly think about how to title it. A step that we had taken is titling this as Chandigarh Declaration, earlier Raipur Declaration, before that Tirunanthapuram Declaration. We are trying to change it, but this time it had become much more cruder. Now, political and organizational report. We will try to change that and come with some innovative names. We will think about in the National Council and executives in the coming time, and we will certainly try to change the nomenclature of that. Then there is a suggestion, and not a suggestion, there are many suggestions that have come about using science and technology, social media, and in social media not just Facebook, WhatsApp, but Instagram. Comrades, many of our heads are turning white. There are very few black heads here. And so whatever white heads are here, they are finding it difficult to use WhatsApp and Facebook. Clean heads are there. All of us are going to be clean heads, not just Pallabda. It takes time for us to go to Instagram and produce YouTube channels and Insta Reels. So it will take time. As a first step, let us strengthen the website that IPSO has. Let us make it a live website. As a next step, let us try to use and actively use the Facebook page of IPSO. Then we will go to Insta Reels and other later trends. I hear that now Jack Dorsey had started a new competitor to Twitter. Jack Dorsey was the managing director of Twitter. He's CEO of Twitter. He quit Twitter. He sold it off. Then now he started a competitor rival to Twitter. So we might think of even using that kind of a technology, artificial intelligence and all these things in the coming days. We might be having what we say, Modi used that programs to address very thousands of meetings at a single time. I'm not remembering the technology that he had used. No, 3D technology in where his virtual, there is with L or something. Anyway, that kind of technology we will have Pallab talking in all the centers at a time, single time in the coming days. We will try to use that. Our if Karnataka unit gets strengthened, Maharashtra unit gets strengthened, and Hyderabad also joins with them. These are the three major IT centers in our country. If three of them join hands and Chennai, Tirunanthapuram or Kochi, all these smart cities come together, not the smart cities of Government of India, but where the smart culture, technology is used, then we will certainly go into that kind of science technology. This is for our future. But then, most crude level, a newsletter, at least once in 3 months. That is a very, it's kind of a begging that everybody was making. That we will certainly try to do it. We will try to bring out a newsletter. We will try to coordinate with other, some comrades have said, like in Bihar, they said that they are bringing a newsletter in Hindi regularly. Bengal said that they are bringing a newsletter regularly. So we will try to coordinate with these people, these comrades, and try to collect the material that they are publishing in this newsletter. And also KBL had suggested from Telangana that he regularly contributes and writes books on various things. We will try to bring them all together and try to bring out a central bulletin at the initial stages, then take it to magazine level at a later stage. Then an important suggestion which we cannot accept was made from Bihar. Everybody said, yes, we need to mobilize secular-minded people. Yes, we need to mobilize secular-minded people. We don't have any problem in that. It is in fact what we need to do. But the problem is, comrade from Bihar had said that those who do not subscribe to secular ideology should be asked to leave the country. That we cannot say. Then there will be no difference between us and them. They might not believe in secular ideology. But why should we ask them to leave the country? We can ask, they can stay, and we will convince them to become secular. That should be the task we need to undertake. That is the difference between us and them. We should not, because they don't believe, They are asking, we don't believe their ideology, they are asking us all to go to Pakistan or some other place. We shouldn't be like that. We have a conviction on our ideology. We have a belief in our ideas. We know that what we are speaking is the truth and it is for the benefit of all the humanity. Then when we have that conviction, we should also believe in the power of that words and the ideas, and we are sure that with this strength, we will certainly convert all those non-secular believers into secularists. That should be the belief and that should guide us into action, but not by throwing them away from our country. Sorry comrades, that should not be the way we need to think about that. Of course, if any political party does not believe in secular ideology, the Constitution of India itself says that they cannot be recognized as a political party. That can be taken from our comrade Bihar comrade's suggestion. And lastly, a common suggestion which had started from comrade from the lawyer advocate Chima to our Yadav Reddy who had just spoken now, is that youth, women, women. This is a common concern that started our conference and is going to be the conclusion of our conference also. Comrades, there is certainly a change that we notice from Thiruvananthapuram, Raipur and now in Delhi. There is a better representation of youth and women as the conferences are progressing. But Rome is not built in a day. The change will not happen in a day. But that doesn't mean we do not work for a change. That day will come only if we start in this minute. If we want to bring a change, we should not wait for the day to come. We should start this minute to bring that change. So that should be the resolve with which we should go, that this organization should work from this moment to ensure that it becomes a youthful organization, a representative organization of the women, sexual minorities, as the disadvantaged sections of this society, and truly a broad representative of the diverse nature, character of this country, our country, India. That should be the resolve with which we should go. Comrades, this is not something which we cannot achieve. You see, you read the Tribune, today's Tribune or yesterday's Tribune, you might have found it in your hotels. The Tribune says that in Delhi Book Fair, one of the largest visited section in the Delhi World Book Fair is Bhagat Singh, the display of the original manuscript of Bhagat Singh's jail notebooks. Most of the youth who are visiting, or almost majority of the youth who are visiting Delhi Book Fair are going there, seeing that book, taking selfies with that manuscript. That shows there is a scope and there is an urge among the youth of our country that they want a change, that they still idolize Bhagat Singh, that they still cherish his ideas. That shows that there is a